listening to WUSM Hattiesburg. It's time for Southern Miss Today. Southern Miss Today is WUSM's news and public affairs program. Southern Miss Today airs Monday through Thursday at noon. Southern Miss Today is sponsored by Mr. Sippy Beverages. And now to start the show, Southern Miss Student Media News.
Hello. Radio, you're here with Madison Warren, and I'm here to give you all the news surrounding Hattiesburg and the world. So let's dive in. On USM's campus today and this week, homecoming week is here, and there are so many events going on around campus. A few faculty and staff can be found dressed up as Waldo for Where's Waldo, and if you see one, take a selfie. There's a blood drive happening from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. today. And Bring It On Eagle Style is happening in the Reed Green tonight at 7 p.m. The teams on campus are competing against each other in a homecoming dance competition. Come support your favorite fraternity/sorority team and wear spirit gear. The homecoming parade will begin at 1 p.m. Saturday with the Eagle Walk happening at 4. Adam Doliak will be performing at Spirit Park at 3 p.m. and admission is free. The game will begin at 6 with the homecoming court presentation at halftime. The body of a woman found in Laurel this past week has been identified. According to the Laurel Police Department, the victim has been identified as 34-year-old Shanice Nicole Watts, formerly of Long Beach, California. LPD also confirmed the victim was the daughter of the suspect. Officers found the body while responding to a report of a deceased person at an empty house on Lindsay Avenue around Wednesday, October 5th at 5:30 p.m. The coroner estimates the time of death to be 6 months up to a year ago. On Friday, October 7th, police arrested 54-year-old Felice Tyler Watts of Laurel and charged her with one count of murder. Watts had her initial appearance in the Laurel Municipal Court on Sunday, October 9th, where her bond was set at $750,000. Making a difference. That's the mission of a Pine Belt police officer who was recognized Monday for protecting and serving the hub city. Hattiesburg police officer Davion White accepted the First Responder of the Year award from Keesler Federal Credit Union. White said his favorite part of the job is solving ongoing crimes to make the community a safer place. He said that although law enforcement is not always an easy job, it is worth it to help someone in need. Junior Auxiliary of Hattiesburg's annual fundraiser is about to waltz into the area later this month. JA's Charity Ball is taking place Friday, October 21st from 7 to 11 p.m. at the Barn in Bridlewood. There will be food, drinks, dancing, and a silent auction. The Charity Ball is the Junior Auxiliaries of Hattiesburg's only fundraiser. Last year, it raised more than $250,000. Funds raised helped JA to give back to the community by supplying products for different projects throughout the year. In the state, more than $712 million has been released to Mississippi for 12 formula programs to support investment in critical infrastructure. The U.S. Department of Transportation's Federal Highway Administration made the announcement today. That includes roads, bridges, and tunnels, carbon emission reduction, and safety improvements utilizing funding from President Biden's bipartisan infrastructure law. Angela Lansbury, star of stage and screen, best known to television audiences as mystery writer Jessica Fletcher on Murder, She Wrote, and who played Mrs. Potts and gave her voice to the title tune in Beauty and the Beast, died Tuesday at her home in Los Angeles. She was 96. That's so sad. After more than a decade of being on the show, Blake Shelton has decided to leave The Voice. He posted on Twitter and said, "I've been wrestling with this for a while, and I've decided that it's time for me to step away from The Voice after season 23. Shelton said in a statement, "This show has changed my life in every way for the better, and it will always feel like home to me." Season 23 will introduce new coaches Niall Horan and Chance the Rapper. Fan favorite coach Kelly Clarkson will make her return in Season 23 as well. We will be right back with sports and weather after these messages.
Mr. Sippy Beverages. Mr. Sippy Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mr. Sippy Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To start, Mr. Sippy will give you 1 month cooler rental and 2 bottles of water for free. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mr. Sippy Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
What's going on, Southern Miss Radio? I'm Austin, aka Smooth Oz, with 4th Street Sports Show. Me and the crew are back on Mondays at 5 p.m. Yes, Mondays at 5 p.m. Tune in to 88.5 for all things Golden Eagles athletics and a fun-filled experience with recaps and interviews from coaches, players, and administrators. Mondays at 5. Don't forget.
History has been made in Ellisville, Mississippi. For the first time in program history, the Jones College men's soccer team is ranked number 1 in the nation. The Bobcats earned the top spot in both the National Junior College Athletic Association Division II and the United Soccer Coaches polls this week. The Bobcats will be home at 7 p.m. Friday to welcome Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. Southern Miss men's golf finishes 4th at Oregon State Invitational. Southern Miss sophomore Ryan Dupuy, I'm not sure, so sorry, completed his suspended second round with a 3 under 68 and then followed that with a 70 over his final round Tuesday to finish 5th at the Oregon State Invitational in Corvallis, Oregon. Southern Miss followed Kansas State, who won the event, with a 3 under 849, followed by Washington State and Tarleton State. The Golden Eagles continue their fall season at the Little Rock Invitational October 17th through the 18th. The Golden Eagle football team lost 27-10 playing Troy this past weekend, but they have a chance to bounce back this weekend as they play Arkansas State at home for homecoming. In weather, according to Ryan Mahan, we're in for a noticeable change to the pattern we've been enjoying. It has been nothing but sunshine and blue sky for the last few weeks, but the rain finally returns today. We'll still have to wait until the late morning/early afternoon for our overnight temperature inversion to break, but once it does, showers will begin to develop across the area. This activity does come with a level 1 risk for severe weather and flash flooding, with flooding being the more concerning of the two. That's because it's been so long since we saw rain, it won't have anywhere to go, and it will gather as runoff. That means there will at least be a couple of localized areas that will see standing water, so be sure to avoid these areas if they start to develop. Thankfully, shortly after midnight, the cold front will catch up and pass through, leading to a cool Thursday and a much more fall-appropriate weekend. Even that change won't last long, though. Expect temperatures to moderate quickly ahead of another front on Monday, which will bring the coolest and driest air we've seen yet. That means a couple of truly chilly nights and cool to mild days are coming up quickly. The high today is 80 with a low tonight of 65. So, Jackson, tell us, are you just so excited about homecoming?
So, homecoming. I know we were talking a little bit before, this show started. I'm excited for the football game. I think you're excited for all the homecoming events. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I'm not a big football girl. I'll go to the game, but I just want to go for all the tailgating and the parade and all that good stuff. I'm just so excited. I love homecoming for all the reasons that I shouldn't probably, but it's okay.
See, I'm quite the opposite. I'm the type of guy that'll go to class and just walk back home, and that's it. But, football, coming off a disappointing loss, you might actually be surprised to learn that Southern Miss is favored to beat Arkansas State by 4.5 points. What that means is people who are betting on the game, maybe in Las Vegas, legally, of course, they predict that Southern Miss is going to win. So kind of surprising, and maybe that'll come to fruition, so to speak. I know you talked about this during the news a little bit, but one thing I want to ask is I had no idea that The Voice was still on the air. Do you still watch The Voice, Madison?
I haven't watched The Voice, but I will say when Todd Tillman was on there, he's from Meridian, which is close to my hometown. I did watch it when he was on there, and he was great. But I have not watched it since, I will say.
Good for Blake Shelton going to greener pastures. But speaking of greener pastures, we are talking about Italian immigrants once again coming to the United States and coming to the Mississippi Delta. So here is Mississippi Moments right now.
This is Mississippi Moments, produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage at the University of Southern Mississippi and supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. I'm Bill Ellison. For those Italian immigrants who made a home in the Mississippi Delta, the 4th of July was always a big deal. John Bassey recalls how his family celebrated.
As I write this, I'm reminded of July 4th of my childhood. My first 10 or 12 were spent with the family at a picnic in Bolivar, Mississippi, where my maternal great-grandparents settled in 1904. Every July the 4th, we went to their first American home to celebrate. There were probably 18 to 20 families, 100 people or so. The men would leave before daylight to catch the fish. The fish were cleaned, as always, decided by cutting a deck of cards. The four lowest stopped fishing around 9 a.m., gathered the fish, and prepared them for cooking. The women and girls would arrive about that time with the food they had prepared: pasta, polenta, polpetti, chicken, beef, pork cooked in tomato gravy, Italian pastry, and cookies. The cooking would begin about 10 a.m. The fish were cooked on charcoal buckets and big iron skillets. Even today, my favorite meal is pasta and fried fish.
To hear more, visit MississippiMoments.org or just like us on Facebook. Mississippi Moments is supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. The humanities are for everyone.
Back here on Southern Miss Today, I'm Jackson Howell. That was Mississippi Moments, and we thank MPB, as always, for providing this content to us every single day. We're about to go to a quick commercial break, but I want to preview our very special guest, Wes Schaefer, the Southern Miss Office of Inclusion and Multicultural Engagement. And we're going to welcome them right after this. We'll be right back on Southern Miss Today.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mr. Sippy Beverages. Mr. Sippy Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mr. Sippy Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To start, Mr. Sippy will give you 1 month cooler rental and 2 bottles of water for free. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mr. Sippy Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. Southern Miss Student Media is how USM communication students put their education into action. The student prints, Southern Miss Radio, SMTV, and SM2 Creative are the media properties operated by Southern Miss Student Media. You can get your share of the more than $600 million USM brings to the area with help from Southern Miss Student Media. To find out more about how to reach the USM audience, email sm2sales@usm.edu.
Welcome back to Southern Miss Today, a production of Southern Miss Student Media, as Dr. Wilbur Martin just noted on the commercial break. But we're back here and we have a very special guest. We have Wes Schaefer, the coordinator of PRISM and Coordinating at the Southern Miss Office of Inclusion and Multicultural Engagement. And we welcome them in now. Wes, how are you today?
Good. How are you guys?
I'm doing good. So how long have you been at Southern Miss? A year or so?
Yes, I have been at Southern Miss for a year and 3 months.
A year and 3 months. So in that short period of time, we've crossed that year mark. What's kind of been your favorite moment or favorite thing about Hattiesburg, and maybe your favorite memory so far in this short period of time?
Yeah, so my favorite thing about Hattiesburg is definitely just getting incorporated with the students, seeing them prosper. That's really my most favorite thing. But one of my favorite events that we've put on was our Second Chance Prom. In that we got to see all of our students come out, no matter their gender identity or identity or expression. We got to see them be themselves, which was an amazing event, and it ended up being that we needed a bigger space because we had so many students there, which was awesome.
We'll get to talking about PRISM a little bit later, but I do want to get a little bit into your background. And the reason I asked you about how Hattiesburg has been, because it's so much different probably than where you went to college. Mm-hmm. The University of East London in England, correct?
Yes, so that is where I obtained my master's. I obtained it in the UK, so I studied applied sport and exercise science.
So what was that experience like, going across the pond? How was it over there?
Oh, it was amazing. I got to see 8 different countries while I was there, and I also got to play basketball. So not a lot of people know that I did get to play basketball overseas, but London's amazing. It's a melting pot, so I got to see a whole variety of humans, experiences, and just really live the life of a European.
And not only did you play basketball, but you were actually an assistant coach of basketball at your previous stop. Is that correct?
Yes. So I played overseas, and that afforded me a assistant coaching position with Indiana University Kokomo for the past 4 years, previous to this institution. And there I actually also started an LGBTQ area on campus as well. So I got to get my hands a little bit dirty everywhere.
What kind of led you to starting that LGBTQ club at Indiana Kokomo, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What went into that, and what made you feel like, hey, this is something I really should be doing?
Well, the reason I started it was because it was in my hometown. So I was born and raised 20 minutes from this town, and I really felt it was important to go back to my roots and make the place better than I found it. Honestly, bringing in Southern Miss to that, because that's what I said while I was there. And I really just wanted the students to have a space to be themselves, where in that particular area of the world I was not able to be.
So leaving Kokomo, your hometown area, and coming to Southern Miss, what kind of led to that, and what kind of attracted you to come down south to Southern Miss?
I mean, to be honest, it was the IME office. From the second that I left the Midwest and came here, TG, Jaborius, and NECA have really made my transition here effortless. They provided a home, and the campus has really just taken me under their wing.
Talking to Wes Schaefer, the coordinator of PRISM and coordinating at the Southern Miss Office of Inclusion and Multicultural Engagement. So, you are the coordinator of PRISM. So, could you kind of tell us a little bit about that, maybe in your own words, an overview of sorts?
Yeah, so I'm the coordinator of PRISM, so I do all LGBTQ initiatives across campus as we are seeking inclusive excellence here on campus. And by that, I basically represent, respect, celebrate, acknowledge all gender identities, gender expressions, sexual orientations. Really any way that the student identifies as, they can come into our office and know that they'll have a home and they'll be respected.
So about how many students do you work with?
Ooh, well, and I do advise a couple student organizations here, so I would say it's probably somewhere in the hundreds, but within our office every day we inhabit about 20 to 30 that come in every single day.
What are some of those student organizations, or what are some of the work that they do that you advise them on, maybe?
So we have SAGE, which is our sexuality and gender equity. So they do a lot of our LGBTQ initiatives across campus as well, making sure that the students feel like they have an area to voice their opinions. And then I'm also the advisor for the University Secular Society. So in that area, we bring representations to all religions and non-religions areas, and we give them inclusive space to talk about some of the things that they want to discuss. Being in the Bible Belt, I want to bring inclusivity to all religions and non-religions.
Yeah, being in the Bible Belt, I just wanted to ask you, just how important is it to have inclusivity, geographically speaking, where we're at? Maybe most people don't think of it as the most inclusive space. What has that effort been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been tough for sure. I have to definitely, put my voice out there a lot more and stand up for a lot of my students, but on campus it's accepted and readily known. So we have a lot of support across campus that helps us with that. But whenever you're starting something, you're always going to have pushback. So we're always having just a tiny bit of pushback, but I'd say 90% of the time, everyone's inclusive. They're trying to get trainings on what we do so that they can be as inclusive as well.
Yeah, the multicultural engagement and Office of Inclusion prides itself on being the most inclusive university in the state of Mississippi. Do you agree?
Oh, yes. We recognize basically everything. Holidays, we also recognize the Heritage and History Months within our office, so we really are, I would say, all-inclusive.
So in your year plus of being here, have there been a lot of improvements that you've seen from last year to next year that maybe are a little drastic in terms of inclusion and progress in that field?
Yes, a ton of progress. We are in our second year as an IME office, and just in that first year, we had to redo our whole offices. So what you see now was not when I was hired in. We had mailboxes, we had unfinished floors. I didn't even have a PRISM office, and this past year, it's grown immensely. I have a new PRISM office. I did have a PRISM office previously. It was pretty small, but now we have a big one that's connected to IME. All of IME is done, and then another little bit of it, coming soon is in November. We're actually getting new furniture for PRISM. So I would say it's grown immensely, and the student representation in there has also grown.
So, excuse me. So you talked about the Second Chance Prom a little bit earlier. Could you tell us a little bit about that and maybe some of the other events that PRISM puts on?
Yeah, so we have our second chance prom coming up in the spring semester, which is one we always look forward to. But this is just an area where we can re-celebrate prom with whatever partner you'd like to come with or whatever identity you'd like to come with. You know, for me, when I was in high school, I had to wear a dress, I had to fit the mold, and I definitely don't do that now. So I just wanted to create that area for our students. And then coming up, we have a Spill the Tea on October 19th, where one of my interns is leading a yoga session, so we can kind of learn how to relax during this semester. And then we also have a LGBTQ History Week coming up from the 24th through the 28th, so you can come into Prism and have some bracelets and things like that. We have a tie-dye event coming up on October 28th, and then you'll have to follow us on Instagram, Southern Miss Prism, to find out the rest of our events for November.
So I want to ask you, if you don't mind me asking, because I feel like it might be important for some of those students that might be looking for a safe space. Mm-hmm. Coming from your background, where in high school you had to wear a dress, and now where you are now, where you can be comfortable with who you are, what has that process been like, and how do you try to use that to help other students?
Well, for me particularly, I mean, the road's been pretty rough. I don't associate with my family anymore, so I have had to cut ties and things like that. But it's afforded me this amazing job. It's afforded me an opportunity to be able to make sure that the students here on this campus don't have to assimilate with the lifestyle that, you know, I was putting forth of me. I don't really look at anything in a negative light. I just see it as hurdles that we've got to get over. So that's also the mentality that it has afforded me. I no longer look at things as if I'm a victim, as if, you know, stuff should happen to me. No, I'm going to take that hurdle, I'm going to jump over it, and then what's the next? Because we got to keep it moving. I've got a ton of goals to get to, and I try to, you know, promote that to my students, but inevitably, we can get through anything. We've got great minds, we've got great humans on this earth that can really obtain any goal that they want to do. And I just try to lead by example.
That's very good. Something I'm curious about is your experience in London. Maybe, you know, are things LGBTQ plus inclusive wise better over there than they are here? Is there still a lot of catching up to do? What was your experience over there with pertaining to that?
Yeah, we definitely have some catching up to do. We know in indigenous cultures and in the Latina community that they already have gender neutral and gender inclusive languages. Also overseas, we know that they already have inclusive bathrooms. And I definitely think that that's two areas where we're just trying to catch up. You know, being respectful of people's identity and their pronouns and things like that. You know, that's a normal thing overseas. And I just want to make sure that that's normal here as well.
What do we, as either a student body or residents of Hattiesburg, need to do to, you know, kind of further the cause of PRISM, make things more inclusive for those that, you know, may be different than us or, you know, have different backgrounds than us? How do we assimilate as one and be happy? What can we do to further that cause?
Well, I really think it just takes every individual, you know, first of all, addressing their implicit bias, their own feelings about these individual groups, and then raising your own awareness. We've got TikTok, we've got YouTube. It really takes each one of us to educate ourselves on these groups so that, you know, we don't have to make the community just do it all for themselves. It's everyone playing a part. So I think it really takes all of us to try to be an ally for each individual outside of that, and then you learn how to be better as an ally for every single community.
All right, last thing from me. Can you just tell us how to get in touch with PRISM and maybe where to attend some of these events if you're putting some on that are public?
Yeah, so to get in touch with PRISM, y'all can come by Hub 100. PRISM is actually in Hub 103, so you can come see us in IME. You can get incorporated by following us at Southern Miss Prism. I also post my own social medias on there, so you can follow me at ruths.rainbow.bus, where I also incorporate some of the LGBTQ education. But rather than that, you can find most of our events in Spirit Park or held within IME. And then shameless plug, come to our allies training to get that allyship training done.
Definitely something to attend. That was Wes Schaefer, the coordinator of PRISM and coordinating at the Southern Miss Office of Inclusion and Multicultural Engagement, or IME, as I just learned. So Thank you for joining us.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate y'all's time.
Thank you for coming on, and we'll be right back here on Southern Miss Today right after this.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mr. Sippy Beverages. Mr. Sippy Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mr. Sippy Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To start, Mr. Sippy will give you 1 month cooler rental and 2 bottles of water for free. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mr. Sippy Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. Recognition for your business or product. Appreciation from a dedicated audience. And establishing yourself as a caring member of the Hattiesburg community are only a few of the benefits of sponsoring programming on WUSM. In addition, our very cost-effective underwriting rates are tax-deductible. To learn more about the upsides of underwriting programming on WUSM, call 601-266-4287.
Welcome back to Southern Miss Today. Once again, we want to thank our special guest from the previous segment, Wes Schaefer, the coordinator of PRISM and coordinating at the Southern Miss IME, Office of Inclusion and Multicultural Engagement. It was an important interview and something that we, as a Hattiesburg and Southern Miss community, need to take note of. But right now, we have our daily SM2 wrap. It's Austin Lindsay, a.k.a. Smooth Ost of 4th Street Sports Show fame. He recaps the Southern Miss loss at Troy from last Saturday, so let's have a listen.
I thought defensively, I thought we had good pressures. I thought we kept us in the game for a long time until the turnovers mounted and the short field happened, and then it kind of snowballed there at the end.
Coming off the bye week to open conference play, Southern Miss took on the Trojans of Troy, losing 27-10.
I thought we played good enough defensively early to keep us in it, and we've got to get better offensively, and then we've got to have a play in the kicking game or a play defensively while we're getting better offensively to get us over that hump.
The Golden Eagles offense struggled mightily behind freshman QB Zach Wilkie with 4 turnovers on the night, being sacked 5 times.
I thought it was unfortunate that, his first 2 picks were tough. One very well could have been a pass interference. It was really tough. But that weighs on you as a quarterback. We got to put that behind us. And the second one was a really tough deal on him as well. And I think he maybe let that get to him because the next 2 pass plays, we had 2 people wide open. One in the flat, Cole Cavallo, the next one, Curl, and he missed high both times. And so he's got to learn from that, right? And play one play at a time, and he will. He's a great kid with a lot of talent.
To just stay poised and stay focused, just go to the next place. I mean, you're a young quarterback, you're going to mess up, but you got to keep going because there's still a lot of games left to be played, and you can't just sit back and just wonder on the mess up. You just need to go forward.
A bright spot for the Golden Eagles offense was wideout Jason Brownlee, scoring the only touchdown of the day for the Golden Eagles with a career high in receptions of 12 for 105 yards.
But we got to be able to make enough plays and not turn the football over. The disappointing thing tonight was we turned it over. It put us into some hard situations, and then we had some things there that we felt like we just really, really poorly executed.
You gotta fight for your right to play.
Welcome back to Southern Miss Today. I'm Jackson Howell, and Madison Warren, our newsreader. We got a little bit. I just want to ask you, it's midterm week, I do declare. So how has that process been, and what kind of midterms are you scared of right now?
Well, I haven't taken any yet, but I know I have a Spanish midterm that I'm going to have to take sometime this week. I'm struggling in Spanish. Let's just be real. I don't know. It's been rough. I just wish, I could just snap my fingers and just be able to speak Spanish and not have to really learn it. But, I just need to, hunker down. Is that a word? I don't know. Yeah. Hunker down and really get it,
Yeah, you and I are kind of in the same boat. I actually just took my Spanish midterm, and I made a fat 76 on it. And let me tell you, I was ecstatic. I was thrilled.
Miss Whitney's like, what?
She is a teacher, and she looks very concerned right now. But you know what? That's fun. That's fun. But
you know what? C's get degrees.
They do. And technically, I still have a B in that class, so you can feel happy. So homecoming week. I know we've kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but real quick, do you have any plans this weekend? Maybe doing anything special?
Well, I'll really just be with my sorority. I think all day we'll be tailgating, and then I'm in Pi Beta Phi. So look out for me. We're Team 4 for homecoming this week. We're partnered with Delta Tau Delta and another fraternity. So we'll be doing stuff this week with that, and then Saturday we'll be in the parade at 1 o'clock. So y'all come out and see me.
And as far as the football game goes, I will be there live doing coverage for Big Gold Nation, and I'll be with the guys doing coverage for 4th Street Sports Show. But unfortunately, that's all we have time for today. On behalf of our audio engineer, Kelsey Bolden, our video producer, Devontae Anthony, our executive producer, Whitney Howard, soon to be Dr. Whitney Howard, maybe, and our newsreader, Madison Warren, I've been your host, Jackson Howell. That's all for Southern Miss Today. Stay golden, Eagles.
Southern Miss Today is your public affairs program, so use it. Be a guest on Southern Miss Today to spread the